Here we go. More dumb stuff coming from America. A Mississippi School District pulls To Kill a Mockingbird because it makes people feel uncomfortable. Okay, here we go again.
Biloxi, Mississippi School District removing To Kill
Biloxi,
a Mockingbird from a junior high reading list.
Why? Because administrators say the book's language makes some people feel uncomfortable, and the same lesson
CNN makes me uncomfortable.
Books.
Carol Swain is a former professor of politics and the author of Abduction, How Liberalism Steals Our Children's Hearts and Minds. She joins us right now live from Nashville. Good morning to you, Professor.
Good morning.
Okay, so To Kill a Mockingbird, there's some language in there that people don't like. And
let's erase history and forget about history. Let's forget about that.
It makes people uncomfortable. So do you agree the book should go?
Of course not.
That is a great book.
I believe that administrators need to teach students about history, and classic works of literature are supposed to make students feel uncomfortable. That particular book helped really ignite the civil rights movement.
That's right. I mean,
it's supposed to make people feel uncomfortable. Right.
Social status, education level, intellect, as well as race. So history is uncomfortable. Bad things have happened. Why do we attempt to erase it rather than discuss it?
I would say that it's ignorance, and that the administrators, instead of actually teaching and showing students the importance of great works of literature,
they don't want to teach, they want to brainwash you.
To political correctness. And as a consequence, all of America's students are worse off. The administrators could have handled the situation by excusing the students who were complaining and letting everyone else have the educational experience. I think it's very wrong for a few people to hold everyone else hostage.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the monuments, people taking down the monuments. Now they're pulling books off the shelves. These are history books, and they are history. We can learn a lot from mistakes of the past. What can we learn, or what should we be teaching our kids about the past?
Well, first of all, we should be teaching them about the great nation that they live in.
Amen.
And I know that race makes people feel uncomfortable, but we're not solving the problem by just allowing a small group of people to dictate what everyone else does. It's important for us to come together around history to avoid repeating some of the mistakes of the past.
Professor,
history is ugly.
There are so many books out there that have what apparently this administrator would feel to be inappropriate language, or that uncomfortable characteristic. Where do you draw the line? Where you say, okay, all these books, we're going to put them in a box and they'll be there, but nobody should read them?
I would say that we should not ever remove the classic books of literature. I would not want my grandchildren reading, 50 Shades of Grey or something that was pornography, but the books that have educated generations of Americans, those books should be read.
It shaped America the way it is today.
We need to change our approach to how we handle education in America. I believe that the administrators at colleges and universities, as well as public schools now, that they are really practicing educational malpractice. And as a consequence, we are not raising young people who are prepared to function in today's society or the world. They cannot be the future leaders of tomorrow if they're totally ignorant about their own history.
In other words, almost completely summed up by the title of your book, Abduction, How Liberalism Steals Our Children's Hearts and Minds. If what goes in is different, you're going to get different kind of kids.
See, Biloxi was having problems brainwashing their kids, and instead of teaching and being administrative, they said, fine, we'll just pull the book so we don't have to teach. A lot of things make a lot of people uncomfortable about our history, about a lot of, in all actual world of history. It boggles my mind. And I sit here and I think, I read that book in Miss Herman's English class in high school. I hated that teacher. But I love the book, and the movie is just as good. And there's so many great authors and classic books that we, another one comes to mind is Tom Sawyer. We all have read that. Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn Adventures. A great time in early American history. As this during post-Civil War time period before the Civil Rights Movement in the early 1900s, the late 1800s, when we were beginning to shape this nation. It was being shaped by God himself. A lot of things in this world make me uncomfortable. Watching football players kneel for the national anthem make me uncomfortable. But we can't turn our heads and totally forget about it and bury our heads in the sand. It's just not going to work like that. America is the greatest country on earth. Don't forget, my new shop's open under cafepress.com/redneck. It's in the links will be in the description. Y'all have a good America's greatest country on earth.